Hello everyone, welcome to the American Dream. I'm Jim Carrigan, and today we have a wonderful guest, Eileen Duff, who is the Essex County Register of Deeds. She's the former governor's counselor for this district, and she's been active in a whole variety of organizations. So let's talk about the Registry of Deeds.
Okay.
First.
It's, well, the registry, a lot of people don't know what it is.
Right.
It's, you know,
That's why we have this
you hear
program.
about it, it's an enigma. It's almost like a library or repository of all the real estate records in most of Essex County. We don't have Methuen, Lawrence, Andover, North Andover, but the rest of Essex County, any real estate deed, any deal, transfer, anything at all that has to do with that, the documents live at the Registry of Deeds.
So that's why you call the Essex South Registry of
Essex
Deeds.
South, correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know why they didn't just put us all together, but
Right.
they didn't. So
how many people do you employ?
we have 28 people at the registry, and some of them have worked there right from high school. Some of them have come from other industries. Some of them have come from other parts of government. But we have diversified the workforce. We have a tremendous amount of staff from Lynn, which is wonderful. And it's I have to say they're an outstanding group of people. They really are.
And what do they do?
Well, they all do different things. Some of them are actual recorders. So when someone's buying or selling a house and the deed comes in, the attorneys and realtors can come and do the closing in person. We have beautiful closing rooms. We encourage people to come in person for several reasons. One, if there's an issue, we can correct it right there and then while the attorneys are present and fix it. Otherwise, it goes through an electronic system, which is a queue. This really became necessary during COVID to keep everything going. And it's a wonderful system. The challenge is, if there's a mistake, and it could be a typo, it could be you forgot somebody's middle name, a middle initial. As you know, as a lawyer, documents have to match. It has to be correct.
Right.
Little things get missed, and then if it's done electronically, we will have to send it back to the attorney, say, fix it. Then the document comes back again, but a different person might see it. It might catch something different. Because it's an electronic system, we can't control who gets it.
Right.
So you could actually close on your house at 9 o'clock in the morning, but you don't own it until the deed is on record. And that could be in the afternoon. So I tell people, if you really need to get the keys in someone's hand, do it the old-fashioned way, come in person. The second part of this is very hard to commit fraud in person. It's a lot easier to do it online. And property fraud, unfortunately, right now, according to the FBI, is the #1 white-collar crime in the United States.
My gosh.
I know, it's very scary. So we have a free property fraud watch program at the registry. Any homeowner, any property owner, you could own a slot of land, you could own a multifamily that you don't live in, it's an investment. Any property at all that you own in southern Essex County, we can register for you, or we'll teach you how to do it for free. This is a free government program which protects you as best we can right now. And I say as best we can, Jim, because we can't prevent the fraud from happening because we don't have a crystal ball. But if some untoward person files a new deed in your name, as soon as that deed comes on record, you will get a notification that something happened. So if it's legitimate, you're going to get the notification. If it's illegitimate, you're going to get the notification.
How does the fraud take place? What is the fraud?
I always say if the fraudsters decided to cure cancer, we'd be all set, because these people are so clever in their criminal minds. There are a few big cases I can talk about specifically, but they impersonate the owner of the land. So there are several ways they do it. One is they will reach out to real estate professionals on Zillow, on Redfin or Realtor, any of these big company websites. You know, you can sign in, I want to I have land, I want to see what it's worth, I have a house. Any of those, there are fraudsters on. And what they do is they'll get on and they will contact a completely innocent real estate professional and say to them, for instance, I own a piece of land in Rockport that I don't live anywhere near there. I've decided to sell it, and I just want to get rid of it. Can you sell it for me? So the realtor will say, yeah, give me your information. They'll get all the information. Can I go see the land? Yes, they'll give them the address where the land is. And because we do so many things electronically today, and again, this is part of what happened during COVID, we had to be nimble and figure out how to do things. They sign the contracts electronically, and then hopefully the real estate professional will say to them, I need to see an ID of some sort. The people will send a fraudulent ID with the owner's name on it, but with their photo. You know, because you can doctor anything today, right?
I don't know.
Well, yeah, because you're not a criminal. But they can do this. You know, there are all kinds of design programs out there where they can fake it. And because it's online, it's not in person, it's a lot harder to tell it's been faked because you're getting a scan,
right.
You're getting a picture of something. And so these agents are completely unaware that this has happened. Now, the registry has been working with the real estate trade organizations to educate them. They're helping us right now. One of the problems we have is no one is tracking in Massachusetts the numbers of fraud that's happening.
I was going to ask you, do you have any idea how often it takes place in Essex County?
It's taking place a lot. I can't give you a number specifically, but I can tell you we have been in contact with every single police department in our 30 cities and towns. We are working with them. They are sending out emails and public advisory notices saying property fraud is real. If you want to sign up for the free program, here's a link. This is how you do it. People are so used to being scammed, sometimes they call us and say, is this a real police thing? Well, isn't it? It's unfortunate,
that's tough. Yeah,
but it's happened.
That, yeah.
But we're also working with D.A. Tucker's office, and we've had quite a few meetings with the district attorney, and they have a team that if someone tries to steal Jim Carrigan's deed, Jim Carrigan, and you're signed up, you're going to get a notice that says, hey, someone just said they bought my house. I didn't sell my house. So what you would do immediately then, we give you the number to call the DA's office, because once the DA is notified, this is not just property fraud, this is identity theft, which a lot of people haven't been thinking about it like that. Now we can start stopping it. Now we can put brakes onto things. Local police, we ask you to call local police, they ask you to call us so we can track numbers of it, because it's just an under and not reported crime. The realtors are starting to reach out to us directly saying, I got a call about selling this piece of land. I happen to know it's not for sale because I happen to know the owner. And we are working with some of them and the DA's office. We are very hoping to set up some sting operations. We haven't had an opportunity to do it yet, but we're leaving nothing we're no stone unturned here.
Yeah.
To me, this is a very serious bread and butter issue. People's homes are usually the most valuable asset they have.
Usually people only own one home.
That's correct. And even if you're a renter, you should make sure that your landlord has either their apartment building or the multifamily you might live in registered with the property fraud. Because the other thing that happens is someone will fraudulently steal a multifamily house because it's an absentee landlord. When the property isn't occupied by the owner, a piece of land or a multifamily or a commercial building, it's easier to steal. Of course, they target seniors. They always target seniors. So, but those are prime, they'll go after anybody, but those are sort of the low-hanging fruit for them. But you should let your landlord know, register for this program so you get notified. We don't have a way of stopping it yet. We are working on it. with all the new artificial intelligence and stuff, but you're trying to predict human behavior, so, we don't have an ability to do that. But we can notify you as soon as it happens, so we put the kibosh on it. And, that's one of our biggest programs that we're doing. We are going to all the senior centers in all 30 cities and towns. We have a team dedicated now at the registry just to community outreach. So we're teaching people about property fraud, about homesteads, about any questions they have about the registry. We are working with all our state senators and representatives. In fact, today our team is out with Senator Tarr's team, and they're visiting 3 different senior centers where we will sign people up on the spot.
Sign them up for the fraud program.
For property fraud.
How does the property fraud program work?
So we can teach you how to do it yourself. You can try to do it yourself online. You have to do it. You have to follow the directions precisely. In that, for all of us, sometimes that's a problem, really reading the directions. But you can sign up for it, and on each sheet, you can sign 5 different ways. So you could put James Carrigan, James and Ann Carrigan, Jim Carrigan, any different alliterations of your name or property, so it's registered every single possible way that people might try to steal it. It gets registered with us, and then you have to give us your email address. Or an email address of a trusted person in your life. If you don't use email, it could be a neighbor that you trust. It could be someone in your family, a child or a nephew or niece or something. And then that way, our system knows the address is registered, and as soon as something gets transferred, it triggers it that you get the email saying this was transferred.
So what can you do about it?
You have to sign up for the property fraud watch right now.
But I mean, you signed up for the property fraud, and you get the email from your office.
You get the email.
Then what?
You call the district attorney's office.
Okay.
Because once the district attorney is involved, now it's been tagged not just as property fraud, but identity theft. And identity theft is really, that's the piece that some people haven't been looking at. Now we're getting into a whole different level of crimes where they can really put things on hold and get the courts involved. There was a famous case in Concord, Mass. that happened. It was a family who lived in the Carolinas who owned a nice piece of land in Concord where they were going to build a retirement home. Untouched land. We were also working with city assessors. They got a bill from the city assessor, and the woman opened it, and it said, "This is your final tax bill on your property in Concord." And she said, "What do you mean?" So she called the assessor and said, "Why are you sending me a final tax bill?" Now remember, tax bills come out quarterly. So the assessor said, "Well, you sold your house 3 months ago, and now you're just getting the quarterly bill." She said, "We didn't sell our house." And he said, "Well, the house has been transferred, and it was transferred several months ago, so as far as we're concerned, you did." They flew up to Concord, to their land. It was already been cleared, and a new house was being built on it because somebody unknowingly bought it, not knowing the person they bought it from didn't own it. And now everyone's out. The whole thing's in court. The whole thing's in litigation. The buyers are out their money. The sellers said, well, if we liked the house, maybe we would have kept it, but it was a big house and we were going to build a little ranch house, so it's not what they wanted. The builders are probably not going to get paid. And what happened was, and this is really unfortunate, but this is why we tell all real estate professionals on every level, pay attention. When they did the whole thing online, they sent an email of their driver's license, and the lawyer asked for another form of ID. They sent a passport, but they used the same photograph in each one. Your passport photo is never used in any other document. And it was a red flag that the attorneys just didn't pick up. So, of course, they're getting sued now, too. Everyone's being sued from here to Kingdom Come on this.
Attorneys.
Right, they're suing everyone's. The whole thing's a mess. But it was an innocent mistake, is what
Right.
it was. But somebody walked away with a pocket full of cash, and nobody can find them now.
But that case is still in litigation?
Oh, yeah. That's a very famous case in litigation. Another very famous case that was litigated and settled was Graceland, the home of Elvis Presley. Right. Someone tried to steal that. And they were only caught. That came very close to happening because the Presley family is the Presley family with the money and the resources they have. And someone on their legal team saw a notice and called and said, "We are not selling Graceland." And they said, "Well, all the documents have been filed and it's closing soon." And they said, this is fraud. They were able, because of their connections and money, to actually find the person who did it. Now she's just been sentenced to prison. But if it can happen at Graceland, it can happen to anybody. This is, and we don't want to terrify people with this, but we want to make people aware that the state in the county government has a free program to protect you, and we will help. If you can't do it yourself, come to the registry. We'll do it for you. Right now, I have a team of 2 men out there meeting with 3 different senior centers today. They have their computers with them. They'll sign you up on the spot. We're also going to veterans groups and things. We're going to go everywhere. There's no stone. We have built out such an ambitious program of outreach that the Secretary of State's office is a little bit blown away, I think, by some of the ideas that I've come up with. I don't think they're used to hearing. But I said to them, my goal is by the end of my 6 years to have every single property owner signed up for this program.
So if somebody steals your property in your program, the property owner would get notified right away.
Correct. But only if they're in the program.
Right.
And only if it's filled out right. That's why we want to help you with it.
And then the property owner notifies the district attorney.
Correct.
Then what happens?
Then the district attorney hopefully can put a kibosh on things as fast as they can, like get it into court.
Can the owner get the property back?
Perhaps.
Perhaps.
We don't.
Wow.
I don't know, because I don't know what happens at that point.
Wow.
Hopefully, yes. This is why we want to set up some stings, because if we can catch a few people red-handed, it's going to let people know you can't get it.
Some publicity on it.
Yeah,
too,
you can't get away with it. Like, we're going to catch you. And my registry is actively signing people up for it. Our first 3 weeks in office, we signed up more people in our district than every other registry in the state combined for all of 2024. And so the other registers were kind of like, how did you do that? And I said, because we're working, and we're working hard, and we're using social media, we're partnering with police forces, we're partnering with DAs, we're partnering with real estate professionals and attorneys to get them to help us do this. You know, if you're an attorney or you're in the real estate business in any way, you're a mortgage broker, whatever, we will send you the language that you can put on the bottom of your emails that say, if you want to sign up for the free property fraud, click here, and you'll link right to our site. We're making this as easy as we possibly can for people, because we want everyone signed up, because like I said, we can't stop it right now, but we can notify you.
Right.
So
what else are you doing?
Well, the biggest project, that's a huge project, but the project we're super, super proud of right now is what we call the Dirty Deeds Project. And so the Dirty Deeds are our deeds in our registry that have restricted covenants in them. And restricted covenants are words, paragraphs even perhaps, that say certain people cannot live in that property. It could be people of color, it could be different nationalities, it could be religions, it could be a multitude of different things. Legally, this is not enforceable. You can't prevent, an Italian person from buying your house, or a Jewish person, or a black person. But unfortunately, the language has never been cleaned out of the deeds. And so many years ago, several years ago, the NAACP and Harbor Light Homes started a project to identify these deeds. They identified quite a few of them, but then, like so many places, they couldn't go any further. They didn't have the resources or bodies. So we picked up the project. Before he left office, Register O'Brien, made a statement that
O'Brien,
the great Lynn guy, this is
long-time Register
right,
deeds.
Long-time Register deeds, big shoes to fill. But he was very clear: this is illegal, can't happen. We support Harbor Light and NAACP in this. What we wanted to do, and I did campaign on it, was take it a step further and try to clean these up. So with Vin Phelan, our general counsel, also a Lynn guy.
Another Lynn guy.
We had to put our heads together and figure out how we can do this, because you can't redact a deed in Massachusetts without a court order. We can't rewrite the deeds, because then you have to have the person who sold the house sign the deed too. They may not be alive, they may not live around here. That was getting to be very complicated. So we had to come up with a legal way we could do this. And part of this, Jim, is I don't want to erase the history that this happened. I want people to know we did this. We had these prejudices in our lives. Some of them date back to the 1600s. Some of them are as far as 1950 and 60. So it's a long span of time. Nancy Doherty in our office and our legal interns from UMass Boston identified 200 more deeds that had restricted covenants. And so what we did is we came up with a program to clean these, where they sign an affidavit, and I brought an example of one today, saying the people who own the house now, that they know they own the house, that they're in possession of it, and the language, and it says what the language of every single individual deed. So we have over 800 of these we've identified. Our legal interns have written over 800 affidavits ready to sign right now. And then the affidavit, I can read it to you. You can read it. And then it's notarized, and, Vinnie Phelan is the attorney, so Vin signs it as well, saying that, this is no longer enforceable, and it's will no longer be in the deed. What happens is, in real estate, attorneys often will give it to a paralegal or somebody, and it's just a cut and paste. They just take the new person's name and put it in. They don't do the back, frankly, the title search that goes back to the 1600s, so they don't know. There are different reasons for this. One, it's a lot of work. Two, we don't have the title examiners we used to have.
Did you know Myron Cohn?
No.
He was the best. He was my title examiner.
Was he?
Yeah, he was fabulous.
Well, the title examination is almost like an apprenticeship job, where you go and you work for a lawyer in a law firm. It's like studying law in the old days, and you study with them and you learn.
Right.
Attorneys, a lot of the great title examiners are retiring, and so attorneys are trying to pick it up and do it themselves. They have paralegals do it, and they do the best they can. But they're not title examiners.
Risky business.
It's risky business. And they're not title examiners, but they don't have title examiners. That's another ball of wax for another conversation that we'll have. So we issued a decree, for lack of a better word, I did, saying no longer will I record any deed that has not been cleaned up going forward. But for the deeds that already exist, we sent 800 letters out, and I signed each one because I wanted them to have a wet signature so people knew it wasn't a scam, it was real. And then these legal students not only drafted 800 legal documents, they called 800 people and said, explained to them what was going on, and said, we'll have you come into the Registry of Deeds and sign the affidavit. And people are coming in and signing them. And it's been fascinating to see. The thing that we're so proud of, we're the first registry in the United States to do this.
Do you get any people who don't want to do it?
We've gotten one. In the student,
Where is he?
I'm not going to say. The
No, I'm
students
only
were,
kidding.
well, legally, that's another. But the students were perplexed that somebody said, no, I think it's fine.
I would be surprised. That's why I asked.
Yeah, but what's interesting, there's a few things interesting to me about this. One is that it's a lot of older people that are really upset about it and said, I didn't know. Some of them are immigrants, or first-generation
of course.
Americans,
Yeah,
and so
right.
this hits hard for them.
Yeah.
And they said, I didn't know it said no black people can live in my house. I want to fix that. And so they're coming in. We had, I will tell this story, we had a woman come in to sign, and unfortunately I don't have Attorney Phelan every day of the week. I don't have the budget to pay him every day. I wish I did. But she came the wrong day, this woman. And she was in her 80s, and she couldn't drive, and her daughter had to drive. And she was a little miffed that we mixed it up. And she sat there and was trying to be as polite as she could, but she was irritated and said, well, what are you going to do, come to my house? And so I looked at my staffer, and I said, actually, we will come to your house, ma'am. And so we...
Right.
Came to her house, and we did the documents there for her. She was thrilled that we did. And then she told all her neighbors, because a lot of time it's a plot of land that was owned and then subdivided.
Yeah, and each deed contained the same language.
Yeah, and people don't even know it's in there.
Right.
It's not the homeowner's fault. They don't know it's there. And one of the other neighbors, who was in her 90s and homebound, called and said, would you come to my house? Because I really can't come out. And so, not that we're going to go to everybody's houses, but if you are homebound, we will
Good
make
for you.
arrangements, because this is important work. It's important on a whole lot of levels, I know you understand, but there's a new level today that is unfortunate that we have to understand. Even though these covenants are not enforceable because of civil rights laws, we are currently in an administration where there is no settled law anymore, as far as I'm concerned. Okay? And I don't know, none of us know what could happen next.
Right.
But
Next hour.
today they're announcing, they've announced that they are going to review, they're going to erase the history of, the internment
Smithsonian.
camps. From the Smithsonian.
Yeah.
They're going to erase the history of the civil rights movement and stuff. This is language they could decide is okay, and we're not having it. We live in Massachusetts, and
Good.
we're not having it. We will not be complicit with something, even though it's not enforceable, because by allowing it to live in perpetuity, it says we don't care. I don't want to erase it. I want people to know what we did. I want people to know what we said. I think it's important. That's how we learn, from the past. But, in the last couple of days, it's become so apparent this is more important than it's ever been. So if you get a call or you get a letter from me saying you have a restricted covenant, please contact us, and we will reach out to you. We're going to be talking to you. We're going to be talking to attorneys in town halls, seeing if we can set up places closer to the communities where people don't have to come into Beverly, and they can go where they need.
Sorry, we got to wrap.
Wrapping up. See, my Irish is coming out. I'm talking.
One thing, you have an intern program, and you're doing
Yes.
some teaching. What's that about? And
So
then we got to wrap this up.
we have had interns. My legal interns, I am only at this point hiring legal interns from the UMass law system. It's a public school. It's only been there for 12 or 13 years. A lot of people don't know UMass law in Dartmouth exists. I had legal interns who drove 2 hours a day to get to the registry to do work.
Oh, that's great.
At a very low, at a very underpaid job.
That's
but I
dedication.
want to give these public school kids a shot to get something really, to be part of history. They did something no one else in the country has done. We're starting a program exclusively with Salem State University this fall, where we're going to take interns in political science and history, and we're going
The
to...
president comes on the show once in a while.
Oh, good.
John
Well,
Keenan, he's a great guy.
I have a dedication. I'm a very blessed person in my upbringing, in my education, But I am a very strong believer in the public school system, and I think as an elected official and as a government entity, we need to be supporting the public school system. So if that means I only hire public school kids right now, that's what I'm doing.
Ooh, good for you.
Throwing the gauntlet down.
Okay, thank you very much,
Thank
Eileen, for
you.
coming on the show.
Thank you.